I work with a company called Accenture. Shaleen just mentioned the name. And I'm a typical, business person in the company. I take care of business excellence function for Accenture BPO in Delhi. I have, from my childhood, I have a lot of interest in social services. I was out of India, came back because of the same passion, and we started this NGO called Pure India Trust. So this is my weekend work. Saturday, Sunday we spent and try to help, underprivileged children especially, and the places where there is no awareness about education, or there is a lack of awareness about education, and the basic resources are not there. So I come from a small village in Rajasthan. If you have heard about Karoli is the district. Karoli is this place which is in the south part of Rajasthan. It's on the border of Chambal, Bihar, and it is known to be around Daket's area earlier. There used to be a lot of, and it's known for redstone mines. So what we do right now, we adopted few schools where we conduct some general knowledge tests, we conduct essay writing competitions for the school children. We invite our volunteer, go and train them on some dance classes. If somebody is good on music, somebody is good on anything. So basically that we identify those children who are meritorious, but they are underprivileged, they are economically not good. So we go and buy a lot of stuff from Chandni Chowk, Sadar Bazaar. We buy their uniforms, school books, their school bags, and all of those things. So we give these things as a scholarship for those children. And then the next program is this child marriage, very popular in Rajasthan, especially at the time of Teej, where large number of girls get married on this day, which is called Teej, somewhere in the month of Sawan we call it. So we started another program called Girl Education Encouragement Scholarship Program. So anybody who's studying after 8th class, and there is no school in the village after 8th class, we are giving them an encouragement scholarship. And we are also recognizing the parents of those girls who are actually sending those girls to another village or nearby town where they are continuing their studies. So we conducted a survey of 5 years data, and then we found that 70% girls stop going to school after 8th class. And out of 70%, there are another 60% just leave study because of there is no school in the village, and their parents do not allow them to go out. So we recommended to Education Minister of Rajasthan that we should upgrade this school. And there are applications that we have given. We ran a campaign for signature from all the top leaders for the locality. Then now we started opening libraries also. So for those schools we buy those books, or we ask our neighborhoods to give us a second-hand books for their children, which is not being used. So we collect those books and go and give those books to those students. Now we started another skill development program which is related to this topic as well. That beauty, culture and healthcare training center we started, and we are training slums women, especially those who go in the house and work as a maid. So up to 1 o'clock they do a maid work, and 1 to 4 they come in our classes. So we give them free training programs for these things. We organize medical camps in those villages. So currently we have 14 villages or 14 centers, I would say, where we are doing all those activities. And I proudly say that all these activities what we are doing so far, it's all self-funded. We have no funding from any organization so far. There is no funding from any private company or government. We funds, our friends, give those fundings based on their interest and based on the work that we are doing. They just say, okay, this program is from my side, I'll pay for that. So those are small efforts that we are doing. And I encourage in our neighborhoods, in our societies, that you have a lot of people that you can make a difference to their life. Like you have a driver, you have a maid at your home, you have made children's, you have so many people, at least one person take responsibility of one family or one person who is actually helping you. I think our society will be better. So that's something we drive a culture. Wherever I go, I talk about these things, and whenever we see, a few days before, I think last Saturday only, I met the principal of very big school in Gurgaon, very big school, and we went to their house, and there was a girl, and I saw that girl somewhere around like 13, 14 years, and I asked, because the principal was not there, so I asked her, in which class do you read? School पे जाती हो कि नहीं पढ़ती हो? तो बोली मैं पढ़ती नहीं हूँ. So then I asked, why you are not studying? No, मैं तो इधर मेड का काम करती हूँ. So the principal of a school and both the children of the lady is actually going in a very good school, and the maid, which is I don't know 14 or 13 years, which is we still call it child labor, and she's not studying. She's just working as a housemaid. So those are small things that we can make an impact to our society. We should do it. We just have to be aware about those things. There are a lot of people I see, there's a small boy and a small girl taking care of their kids, and both husband and wife are working, and we don't have any emotions about somebody who's taking care. So I think we should take that responsibility, and similarly corporate social responsibility. So it's a responsibility. The corporates are not doing anything, to what we call it, ehsan, right? This is their responsibility. We are collecting that money from the society. We should give back to the society, right? Why we should, fill those big houses, big business houses. This is public's money, and it should go back. If it is 2%, I must say this should go. And another point which I want to make, I'll just take a few more seconds, Shani. Corporates are doing a lot of work on CSR, and I take care of CSR for Accenture, right? And I do my other work and run this NGO, so I'm actually both the sides. But I see this work is managed in number of hours. How many hours we spend on CSR activities, right? So we have said 20 volunteers went to a orphanage house. They spent 2 hours, so 40 hours we spent on this day. We went to a old age home. We went to some activities. We took a nice pictures, put it on Facebook. So many friends would like those things. You are doing fantastic work, but actually we are not making a difference. We are just doing some activities. So we should adopt those programs, bring the change in the lives. So we should have a measurable criteria. Somebody was saying we can't measure it. We can measure this. We should say what percentage, like we measure our profitability in the companies. This percentage of profit quarterly, yearly, and all those things. We should say what percentage of life we change for the villages that we have adopted or the society that we have adopted. So I think overall this is a responsibility for corporate, it's a responsibility for everybody. We should take that responsibility and follow it. We should do it. Thank you, Shani.
Thank you, Prashant. I think when you were speaking about the education program that you're doing in Karauli, in Rajasthan, I was reminded of an education program that BSO is doing, in fact, in Rajasthan, in a village called Bundi. This is again an education program which is looking at the use of technology in strengthening the capacity of government school teachers to be able to teach English language skills to poor children and marginalized children in those villages. It is also a program which we are working in partnership with IT companies to deliver, so there is a corporate angle there. With Accenture, in fact, there is a lot of work that we are doing in partnership with our entire program on livelihoods in Jharkhand has in fact been funded by Accenture staff, again through their own salary contributions. So it's a very unique, I think that Accenture has a very unique model, where it's not just about CSR, it is that corporate responsibility is something which is ingrained and inculcated into the employee's own mindset. And, we've seen that particularly at BSO, where, like I said, our livelihood programs are being funded by Accenture staff members. Additionally, I also wanted to just talk about the value that we've seen Accenture in particular bring to the kind of programs that we are doing in BSO. Just very recently, we had 2 Accenture UK consultants volunteers rather, who came and worked with BSO as part of our livelihood work with Ajivika at the Ministry of Rural Development. And their task was to develop standard operating procedures for Ajivika for people with disabilities to offer them skills building for employability, which is what Ajivika is all about. Now, if you look at the history of Ajivika, if you look at which was earlier the SGSY, the Swarm Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana, now in fact it's called the DDU-GKY. It has been one of the government's flagship programs which ran into trouble right from the start. It is one of the most poorly, if you look at historically, it's one of the most poorly implemented programs of the government, even though it's been one of the most cash-rich and resource-rich programs. The Accenture volunteers were placed in Ajivika for exactly 4 weeks. And in those 4 weeks, they were able to mobilize the government machinery to get together all the NGOs across India who are working with people with disabilities under one roof as part of a workshop to revisit the guidelines, the standard operating procedures for people with disabilities, how Ajivika is friendly towards people with disabilities, to change those SOPs and to actually re-strategize the entire agenda of the Ministry of Rural Development in exactly 4 weeks. And of course that speaks about the caliber